Okay, the class today should be, everybody should give some tzedakah, please. Caesar. Okay, these classes today are in the merit of Lilius and Nishmas for Amelia, for Isa Bas Ruvain and Ruvain Ben Moshe, and father and daughter. My wife's grandmother and grandfather, great grandfather. No, and grandfather. My children's great grandfather. Tehillim. Hello. Hello there. Why don't you come sit close? You have nothing to fear, only Hashem, not me. Okay, very good. This is Shiral.
Yeah.
Gali. Let me guess. Esther Hannah?
Right.
Correct. Okay, so slide your chair over just a little bit so you're not right behind. Yeah, I can catch all of you at once. All right, chapter 20. Tehillim. The situation is still unresolved. Fighting goes on. Hostages are still languishing in captivity. Terrible. Terrible to be a hostage. Terrible. Because it's worse than, in certain ways, it's worse than being killed. Because you never know from moment to moment if you're going to live. The Rebbe writes about the exile of his father. The previous Rebbe, that when he was sentenced to exile, the Hasidim didn't know if they should rejoice because he hadn't been killed, or they should be terribly upset because exile is in many ways considered worse than being killed. Because you can be killed any minute anywhere. And you're deprived from the things that give you life, which is family, a healthy environment, food, Torah, mitzvahs. Okay, chapter 20. Lam Natsei Mizmor LaDavid. Yan Chanai B'im Tzaris L'Gav Hashem Elohei Yan Ke'Isha Chesed HaMikodesh Umitzi and Yisadeka. It turned out the previous Rebbe was only exiled for 2 weeks. It was a miracle. He was brought back. And his sentence was commuted. He was just told he should leave the country as quickly as possible. So he left Russia. It was cut off from his people, but he survived. Chapter verse 4. We should hope that our hostages, these hostages, should also be released immediately. 5. Verse 5. Now I know, says King David, that Hashem saves his anointed one, sending salvation from this highest, holiest place. Mishmei Kodshe, his holiest heavens, with might and salvation from his right hand. Some come with chariots, tanks, and armor. Some come with cavalry and drones and who knows what else. We come with the name of God on our lips. We also have cavalry and tanks and drones, but we rely not on them. We rely on Hashem. Hema karu v'nafalu, they bent and fell. V'anachnu kamnu v'niseidad, we arose and we are standing stalwart. Adonai Hashem melech anenu v'yem karenu. Hashem will answer us on the day when we called him. We're in chapter 4, creeping along in this fascinating chapter about the garments of the soul, which are thought, speech, and deed. And an interesting thought that we learned from this week's Parsha, Yosef. It says about Yosef, he was handsome. Handsome to look at, handsome to behold. Why does it say both of these lashonos? So the sages say that because his beauty was a holy beauty. What is holiness? Mitzvahs are holy because he was dedicated and punctilious and graceful in his performance of all the mitzvahs. So he's twice called beautiful, once for positive mitzvahs that he did, and once for negative mitzvahs that he was careful not to transgress them. And we learn from this that we also have to be very careful about how we dress, and dress nicely and clean. We have to be clean. And I need a new hat. That's my weather hat when the weather's bad. So I wear a schlapper. But we have to dress very nicely because people look at us and they judge us. What do we judge us? They judge the Torah that we represent. I'm sure you've all heard these kind of anti-Semitic slurs about people who don't dress properly. The Rebbe was always immaculate, as would be befitting a king. King should be immaculate. And we are a nation of princes and kings, so we have to be tip-top. Because, and tip-top means not just the clothes we wear and how we look and how we carry ourselves, but it means the way we think, the way we speak, the way we behave. Because if you see that a person has a flaw in his or her character, like they speak in a vulgar way from time to time, they swear or something like that, speak improperly, or they say things that are unpleasant. Not all, from time to time it slips out, yeah? So you lose your respect for them and they can't influence you. So we have to be very careful how we behave because people, quote unquote, I'm quoting this now, people are, who is this? This is from the fourth Rebbe of Lubavitch, Rebbe Shmuel. He said to one of his students who was going out into the world, he said, you have to be aware that you are a teacher. You hear this, girls? You're going to go back to Argentina, and everybody's going to look at you. Oh, you were in New York, Machon Layadus, and they're going to see the way you behave. Maybe we'll send someone there too, or maybe we won't. So we have to be careful. It should be only positive. So he said you have to be a teacher because people are always looking at you. That's what he said. Rebbe Shmuel said, people are always looking at you. You're not aware of it, but they are. You never know. You come to class and someone says, I saw you on Shabbos in shul. You did. You're not aware of it. But people are looking at you and they make a positive judgment depending on your behavior. And they learn from you. Shiral.
If I go to live to an island, and there isn't anyone.
What?
If I live in an island and there isn't anyone.
If you live where?
Island.
In an island?
Yeah.
Which island? Hawaii?
And there isn't anyone, but any. So
Vancouver Island? Where do you want to live?
No, it's like our example.
England is an island. What?
If I go to live to some place, does anyone live here?
No one lives there?
No.
Why would you go to such a place where nobody lives there?
I am going to be good.
No, you have to go to a place where there's a minyan, where there's a school, where there's a shul where you can go, where you can get kosher food, where you can have.
No, but so I don't want to learn.
You don't want to learn?
Because anyone wants to learn.
If you don't want to learn, why are you here? You do want to learn.
Do you said before that we learn for the another one, like say me how I learn? No.
תגידי בעברית. שיראל, תגידי בעברית.
את אומרת נכון שאני צריכה ללמוד like the people teach me because לאנשים אחרות רואים לי, נכון?
אנשים אחרות רואים אותך.
כן.
ולומדים ממך.
ואם אני גרה במקום אחרת שאין הרבה אנשים, אז מה, אני לא צריכה ללמוד?
איפה זה?
לא, יש הרבה.
איפה זה?
איפה זה מה?
אנטארקטיקה.
Yeah, for example.
בבקשה תלך.
No, but מה אני רוצה להגיד זה שאני צריכה ללמוד עליי, לא בשביל שאנשים אחרים רואים לי.
את סייבר, כמו שאת אומרת.
לא, זה מה שאני חושבת.
תלך למקום שאין שם אנשים, אז יהיה בהמות, והם ילמדו ממך. תיתן להם אוכל בזמן, והם יהיו טובים בשבילך. הם יאהבו אותך.
לא, כמובן שאני רוצה להיות במקום שיש אנשים, אבל מה שאני אומרת לא זה לגור בעוד מקום.
תראה, גברת, אנחנו גרים בין אנשים, אוקיי? תחזור לעולם הזה. ואנחנו צריכים לדאוג איך אנחנו מתנהגים, איך אנחנו מדברים יפה וחושבים טוב על אחרים, שזה החיים. נכון?
כן.
זה לא נכון?
כן, לא, זה נכון, אבל...
בסדר, בואו נלמד. Page 85. Lochin Torah nidme l'mayim. So Torah is compared to water. Here is Rivka. See, I remember when this class was just Yael and Hannah and Rivka. How we've grown. Oh, my son. And some days it was just Rivka. Therefore, the Torah is compared to water. This is a very famous saying, very famous metaphor. And it works like this. Anything you say about water, you can say about Torah. What is the quality of Torah? What is the value of Torah? You need it to live. You can't live without Torah. Look, everybody has something to drink, always. You are 75% of you is water. Like the world, because you are a small world. You are a microcosm. So 75% of you is water. So you need water. If you, on a hot day, if you don't drink, you get what? Dehydrated. Hydra is a Greek word, I think, for some spiritual force connected with water, like hydroelectric power. But Hydra is the name of a idol worship, a god or goddess of idol worship. So you need water to live. And when there's no rain, then water is like life-giving rain, right? You need to water the lawn. The nature of water is that it comes from a high place, goes down to a low place. So Torah comes from the highest place, which is Hashem's wisdom. Wisdom, Chachma, is the highest of all the 10 qualities of our character, of creation. The first word of the Torah is, does anybody know what the first word of the Torah is in Hebrew? Bereshit, right. Bereshit. So the sages say 2 things called Reshis are the reason Hashem, for 2 things called Reshis, Hashem created the heavens and the earth and the whole creation. What is Reshis? Reshis is wisdom. The beginning of all thought is Reshis, the beginning. It's called Reshis. So from the highest level of Hashem's thought comes down to giving a dime to a poor person in this world, or a fruit, a banana, a yogurt, whatever you like, a cup of coffee, saying a blessing. It comes down from a high place to a low place. And if there's a lower place, the water settles here, but then it keeps dripping and dripping and dripping until the pool fills up, and then it goes further. If there's a lower place the water can get to, it will go to. That is the nature of water, to go from a high place to a low place. So it's life-giving and it descends, unlike fire. Fire goes up. We are also made of fire. Do you know that you're made of fire? It's one of the elements in you. How do you know? If you're not feeling well, what do? You take your temperature. What's temperature? It's not just a stick, you put it under your tongue. It's a measure of heat. You know how hot you are? You're boiling hot. On a boiling hot day, it's 98, 99 degrees out. Whoa, it's boiling hot. That's you. For you, that's normal. You go to take a shower, if it's 98, it's lukewarm. If it's 101, oh, it's comfortable. 104, oh, that's about right. 105, oh, getting too hot. But just close to our own body temperature is 100, 101 is around it. 101 is already considered I'm not feeling well. So that's fire and water. Torah is compared to water. The main thing about Torah is also that it's cold. So a person who's filled with Torah could be a cold, calculating intellectual. So therefore, we have to have warmth in our learning as well as knowledge. But the water is life-giving, okay? So therefore, what's being described here is the function of mitzvahs and learning Torah is that they come down from Hashem, the height of Hashem's wisdom and his willpower, and they become embodied in our awareness, in our actions, and in our words. Got it? Clear? Same way water comes from a height to a low place. That here, what does he say? On the bottom of page 85, God's will and wisdom is so high that no person could possibly begin to comprehend it. And from there, the Torah has journeyed in stages, hidden stages. Now, these stages are called, top of page 86. Here's a very important term in Hasidic thought. It's called the order Seder. Seder means order, like Pesach Seder. There's a whole order of 15 steps in making the Pesach Seder. The word Seder means an order. We're talking now about the order of creation of the world, which is a chain-like creation, so that each link in the chain brings us one step lower. The highest point in a link connects with the lowest point in the link above it. So if we have 4 worlds compared to the 4 letters of the name of Hashem, so we have 4 links like that. That's called the order of Hishtalshalus. A shalshelis is a chain, like a chain around your neck. So the shalshelis, the chain of creation, is called the Seder Hishtalshalus, and the life of God comes down through the whole Seder of Hishtalshalus, the whole Seder of creation. Level by level by level, the 4 major levels are the 4 major worlds. Each world is made up of 10 qualities, because that's the DNA of creation. So we have now 40 stages. And each of these has within it 10 stages. So we have now 400. And each of these has 10 stages, so it comes up to 4,000. And that's how the world gradually comes lower and lower and lower, but it's still connected to God. To create a physical world requires something else. And that's a new term. That's a very, very important term in Hasidus. And it answers a huge question, which the question is, how does the world come into existence out of nothing? And there's no good answer. Soon. Because stage by stage by stage by stage by stage by stage by stage, we're still connected to the top. There's still a cause and effect. There's a source here, and there's an effect. Stage 1, stage 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes on and on and on and on, and we're all connected. So where does the world? It's everything. Since stage 1 is infinite, stage 2 may be on a lower level, but it's still infinite. And stage 3 will also be infinite because it's all coming from an infinite source. The source is infinite, is God. Infinite. And we never get away from the infinite. Because in mathematics, I remember learning when I was young in high school, junior high school, that in mathematics, when you put infinity into any mathematical calculation, what happens? It doesn't work. Everything, the answer is always infinity. How many times does 5 go into infinity? Endless, infinite. As soon as infinite is in there, everything is infinite. So since this starts with an infinite source, which is Hashem, infinite source is since the infinite source is Hashem, it remains infinite. Oh, that writes. Okay. What's the symbol? There we go. So infinite remains infinite, infinite. So where does the world come? So therefore we need a complete break and a leap. And after the leap, you don't know what came before. That's where the world starts. In other words, each of these stages feels that it's connected to the stage before. We in this world do not feel that we're connected to anything before. We feel like we're just here. We're just here. Hashem put us here. We woke up. We had a family. Got someone taking care of us. Okay. How do we get from here to here? How do we get from here from one place from one to the other? There is no English word for this. This is the answer. The answer is called tzimtzum. How are you going to translate? You can say contraction, compression, a quantum leap. I don't know what you're going to. There's no English word for it. Tzimtzum. How Hashem compresses himself, like to put it in simple terms. They said, I've said this a few times already. How did the Alter Rebbe put such a big God in such a little book? How did Hashem put his greatness into the Torah? And the answer is tzimtzum. And that's what he's saying here. That the light from Hashem comes down like water through the whole chain-like order of creation until, page 86 at the top now, between the English words and the Hebrew words, right there, until it clothed itself in material, matter, and things of the physical world. How did that happen? You must pay attention at this point. It's crucial. How does it happen that Hashem, that we go from Seder Hishtalshalus, which is the infinite chain of creation, and how do we get to the physical world? And the answer is Tzimtzum. Tzimtzum. Do you understand Tzimtzum? Lo. But then now you can't. You can't. Because we're after the Tzimtzum. So how can we understand what it is? We're after it happened. Do you have any sensitivity to before you were born? So how can you understand your Creator? But we have to just know that this is what it is. Who taught the idea of Tzimtzum? I think is the Arizal. Rabbi Yitzchak Luria teaches it. Okay, so because of this Tzimtzum, we have a leap. That life leaps over this great divide between feeling the Creator and not feeling the Creator. Something from something as opposed to something from nothing. The world that we live in seems to us to be real. Something, it's real. Where did it come from? Nowhere, nothing. Hashem. What is Hashem? I only know Hashem because in different terms. I know Hashem. Hashem gave us the Torah. Hashem gives us mitzvahs. Hashem gives us everything good that we like. We know what Hashem does for us. We don't know Hashem. We know Hashem from the Torah. The Torah is Hashem's wisdom. The Torah is Hashem's desire, what He wants from us. So we know what Hashem is in this way, but do we know Hashem? We don't know. Okay, so what are we seeing here is that the world comes into existence through Tzimtzum, and it encloses itself, Hashem encloses himself after this Tzimtzum. What do I mean himself? What he wants and what he knows. And his wisdom all become enclosed in the letters of the Torah, the 4 books of the letters and the Torahs and the letter and the words and the ideas and the orders and the principles and the festivals and the laws and the ordinances and the statutes of the Torah. Okay. Now, page 87. Now, since we learn Torah and we do its mitzvahs, got the place? Malbishim kol eser bechinas hanefesh, and we're doing it so completely with our thought, with our minds, and our word, with our understanding Torah, and with our words, we're learning Torah. And we're doing the mitzvahs with all the limbs of our body, from head to foot. So what do we get? Hare kula tzurura b'tzurura chaim. Our whole being is enveloped and then clothed in the bundle of life, in Hashem's life. Like we said yesterday, like a dancer is doing the dance and you can't tell the dancer from the dance. And so the Torah says that Hashem is my rock. I take refuge in him. What's a rock? A rock is solid. It remains unchanging. And it also says that the will of Hashem, so Hashem is like a rock, that's to say, I take refuge like in a cave. I go into a cave in a mountain and it protects me from the elements. So when you learn Torah, it's like going into a cave of holiness. Or another symbol of this going in somewhere is the ark. Noah built an ark, and life survived because of this ark. And Hashem said to Noah, go into the ark when the waters of life are so tumultuous, when there are wars going on, and who knows the pressures and the obstacles of life. Learn Torah. Go into the Torah like into an ark. It will buoy you up above the waters and will carry you over the flood. Okay. And another comparison to the Torah is that the Torah is like a shield or a helmet that protects you, because that is a symbol of the commandments. The commandments are like a symbol, like a shield that protects us. It's compared to a helmet. Okay, that's a turning point tomorrow we're going to, Mitzvah Shem, push on and finish the chapter. You want to see a helmet? I remember when I was a teenager, I saw a painting by Rembrandt of a person who had a beautiful helmet. You may have seen it somewhere. You could probably Google it up. A beautiful helmet. And you could look at the mitzvahs of the Torah like a beautiful helmet. Like when a person does these mitzvahs, it's like he has a beautiful spiritual helmet. And just like I looked when I was a teenager, I never saw a painting like that in my life. And I saw it, and I purchased a print of it. I put it on near my desk. It was such a beautiful painting. Yeah, when we do Torah and mitzvahs, it's like we're wearing a helmet like that, and people would say, "Whoa, that's really very beautiful." Well, that's not me; it's the Torah. The Torah itself is very, very beautiful. So, Shiral, did you answer your question? What if you go to a place where there are no people? So then do you have to try to behave nicely? I guess so. Don't you think so? What do you think?
אני חושבת שאני צריכה ללמוד גם עליי. רק יש לי אהבת השם.
Yeah.
ואם אני יכולה להשפיע על אחרים, טוב. אבל אם לא, גם אני צריכה ללמוד עליי.
So if you live in a desert island and there's nobody there, and you want to take one book with you, which book would you take?
I don't know. Hitas.
I would take this book.
I already don't finish it, but understand this book for that.
Okay, now we have to say a blessing.
Amen.
You see, Chana, that's the only way to remember. Is to have the book there. Whenever you sit down to eat something, make sure you have a little sitter beside you. And that way you remember. Otherwise, you get up and you forget. It's only normal. It's only normal. And when you think back on it, whenever we saw the Rebbe, look at any video of a Farbrengen or a Sikha, when the Rebbe spoke to the ladies, whenever the Rebbe always has a sitter. So that's why I started bringing this. Good morning, Rebbetzin and Simcha.
Good morning, Rabbi Pape.
You're there with us. Good. Which book would you take
Hashem.
with you, Rebbetzin?
Thank you. The Siddur.
What?
The Siddur.
The Igeris, a book of letters of the Rebbe.
Sitter.
Oh,
Siddur.
Siddur. Okay.
What book did you say you would take?
Have a great day. Look how nice it is. Let's hope it stays nice all day like this.
Yes.
We prayed for sun.
It would be nice if we could get through the whole winter.
Yes.
It's just nice weather. A little bit, it'll remind us that it could get cold. In general, the winters of New York have become very mild.
Yeah.
When we moved to New York, that was a long time ago, I guess. In the winter, there was like 8 feet of snow.
Wow.
After snowstorms and big winds would blow, we wouldn't have 8 feet, but the wind would blow the snow to cover the cars. And it would take weeks. Because the traffic couldn't move, and the snowplows, the cars are parked. Nobody has driveways here. In Montreal, everybody has to have a driveway. Toronto, everybody has to have a driveway. You're not allowed to leave your car on the street. Here, there's no driveways. So the cars are parked on the street, and the snowplows can't get through. It just stays like this for weeks until it warms up and the snow melts. You made it. Oh, Hashem.
Anything else to see here?
Today's the last day.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna take it. Running a short trip. This is what's a bit. You got to. Okay,